I found myself tangled in a mess of uncertainty, still trying to make sense of that cryptic letter. Looking back, I can't say I hadn't noticed changes in Barbara over the last few weeks. They were subtle at first, but impossible to ignore. Once vibrant and full of life, my wife had become distant and moody, her spark gradually dimming. Initially, I chalked it up to pressure at work. She'd just been promoted, after all. Every time I brought up her behavior, she dismissed it with a tired smile or a quick subject change. And I'll admit, I wasn't exactly in the headspace to press her about it. I had my hands full with a new contract that promised to elevate my career. It felt like a turning point for me, until that letter showed up in our mailbox and shattered my confidence in everything. That letter didn't just stir up anxiety, it zeroed in on the very source of my unease. Suddenly, all the little changes in Barbara made terrible sense. I felt the urgency clawing at my chest. Time wasn't on my side. Then it hit me. Of course. Harry Clark. His name had lingered in the back of my mind for weeks, but now it screamed at me. Harry was a senior manager at Barbara's company, her new boss. Tall, commanding, and dressed in designer suits that seemed tailored to intimidate. He stood over 6 feet, a striking contrast to my petite wife, and, truth be told, to me as well. I'm no giant, but I've never been one to feel small beside other men. Except now, maybe I did. The letter warned me not to confront Barbara directly, at least not yet. Whoever sent it seemed to understand the delicacy of the situation. One wrong move could blow everything up. I had to be strategic. Barbara had mentioned a corporate formal coming up. I'd already told her I wouldn't be able to attend due to work. But that was before. Now everything had changed. I had to see for myself what was going on. I had to be there. If I was right, what I might uncover could devastate both of us. But the alternative, staying home and pretending everything was fine, was even worse. And somewhere in the back of my mind, one question kept repeating: who sent that letter? Without warning, I made up my mind. I'm going to the event tomorrow, I told her that evening. Barbara blinked, caught off guard. Her reply came a bit too fast. You really don't have to, Adam. You've got so much going on right now. There's nothing more important than you, I said firmly. It's not exactly a gala, you know, she added, her voice hesitant. It'll be boring, corporate stuff, speeches, awkward banter. Are spouses invited? Her pause was telling. They usually are, she admitted. So others will be bringing theirs? I guess, yes. Some will. Then I'll be there. She didn't protest again, but I saw the flicker in her eyes, the kind that tells you everything without a word. Her discomfort twisted something inside me. Do you not want me there, Barbara? I asked gently. Of course I do, she replied too quickly, blinking back what looked like tears. The emotion in her eyes caught me off guard. Then it's settled, I said, voice steady. I'm going. I wasn't cut from the same cloth as the corporate elites who would fill that ballroom, but I knew how to present myself when it counted. I had a few tailored suits hanging untouched in my closet, clothes I rarely wore, since my work usually left me grease-stained and exhausted. But this time, I pulled out the sharpest one and made sure every crease was perfect. I even took a couple of days off to prepare. My boss wasn't thrilled, but after a tense discussion, he relented. He didn't like it, but he let me go, after issuing a warning or two like I was heading into a battlefield. By evening, Barbara and I stood side by side, dressed to impress. She was breathtaking, barely 5 feet tall, but glowing with the confidence of someone twice her size. We'd first met at a gym years ago, and she still looked as fit and graceful as she did back then. Her black dress clung to her figure, elegant and effortless. Heels added a few inches to her frame, nearly bringing her to eye level with me. At the event, I scanned the room until I spotted him, Harry Clark. Instantly, I noticed how Barbara kept her distance. She smiled, mingled, played the role, but she never lingered near him. If I hadn't read that letter, I probably would have missed it. But now I saw everything. I kept to the sidelines, letting her make the rounds. The atmosphere was all polished conversations and stiff drinks, but I stayed alert. Just when I was about to think I'd come here for nothing, that maybe I was overthinking it all, something unexpected happened. Fate decided to make its move. Out of nowhere, I saw them, just the two of them, amid the lively crowd on the dance floor. Music thumped around them, but it was like the rest of the world had blurred. He stood there, proud as a peacock, the smugness practically dripping off him. Meanwhile, Barbara seemed visibly uneasy, her gaze flicking around nervously, clearly looking for someone. Me. I kept watching, jaw clenched, stomach twisting with each inch he moved closer to her. It took everything in me not to storm over, but I knew patience would serve me better. And then, the opportunity presented itself. I stepped forward, meeting his eyes. "Evening," I said smoothly. "You're Harry Clark, right?" He tilted his head slightly, like he wasn't sure what to make of me. "Yeah." "I'm sorry, have we met?" "I'm out of the West office," I replied, leaning into the only believable excuse I had. Relief surged through me as he nodded, unsuspecting. His hand extended. "Ah, got it. You must be Perez, the new head of transitional acquisitions." "That's me," I confirmed, though the title meant nothing to me. I resisted the temptation to crush his hand in the shake. He scanned the room casually. "Don't know many faces here yet, but I did notice you earlier dancing with that stunning blonde." "Your wife? You mean Barbara Smith?" I said, forcing a polite grin. His expression shifted into something cocky. "She's not my wife yet, but we're spending time together. You know how these things start." I laughed lightly, nudging him as if we were old friends. "She's got that effect, doesn't she? A knockout. Can't miss those curves." He chuckled, his arrogance bubbling to the surface. "Tell me," I asked, feigning curiosity, "have you gotten anywhere with her?" My pulse quickened. This was it, the confirmation I came for. For a second, he looked like he might sidestep the question, but then his ego won out. "Yeah," he said with a proud sigh. "She's been keeping me company in my office. Been going on for weeks now. Practically throws herself at me." My vision narrowed. "That's risky," I muttered coldly. "Does she have a husband?" He smirked like it was a joke. "Apparently. Some nobody. I can't figure out why she's still with him. From what she's told me, he's unemployed. Basically leeching off her." "What's this guy's name?" I asked, playing dumb. He scratched his chin, clearly struggling. "Not sure. She might have called him Adam. Maybe Adam Smith." I couldn't hold back anymore. "Actually, it's Adam Perez. Smith's her maiden name. She only uses that at work." His smirk faded. "Why would she do that?" "We agreed on it," I said, letting each word land heavy. "Keeps our personal life private." Confusion flickered across his face as the realization hit him. "What do you mean, we?" I straightened. "I mean I'm her husband." His mouth fell open slightly, and then he laughed. "So what? You here to beg for her back?" "No," I replied, calm but sharp. "I'm here to give you a crash course in respect." He scoffed, sizing me up. "You? Really?" He had the height advantage, probably 6 inches taller, and looked like he spent a little too much time at the gym. Still, I didn't flinch. Then I did something calculated. Something meant to provoke, without drawing too much attention. I spat at his feet. "That did it. You little piece of," he snapped, lunging at me. Maybe he finally realized who I was, or maybe he was just furious, but either way, he took the bait. He swung wildly. I dodged, but let one punch graze me. I reeled back with dramatic flair, just enough for the crowd to see who threw the first blow. He kept coming, fists flying without control. I stayed light on my feet, making sure not to retaliate too soon. Let him dig his own grave. When I finally struck, it was with purpose. My palm slapped across his face, sharp and deliberate. He stumbled, stunned. You hit like a child, he spat, charging again. Bad move, I muttered. 6 clean slaps later, he was sprawled on the floor, groaning. Adrenaline rushed through me, but I held firm. No rage, just cold resolution. Barbara's voice cut through the noise. Adam, what are you doing? She cried, rushing over. Her face was filled with panic. You went too far. I looked at her, eyes like ice. Not as far as you did when you chose him. You threw away decades for this. Adam, you're wrong. It's not. But I was ready. What she didn't know was that I'd recorded every word of Harry's bragging. I pulled out my phone, walked up to the event's microphone, and hit play. The room fell quiet. The audio echoed through the hall, Harry's voice, boasting about Barbara, mocking her husband, describing everything in revolting detail. Gasps filled the air. A few people murmured. Some looked away in shame. Others watched me with a mix of shock and sympathy. When the recording ended, I slipped the phone back into my pocket and left without a word. By the next morning, the fallout had begun. The company's CEO had been at the event. He heard everything. Both Barbara and Harry were terminated immediately. I filed for divorce the same day. Our prenup was ironclad. She walked away with just $20,000. And I walked away with peace.